It's like very close to.
Are you going to use the same starting five as you did on Friday?
Yes, I'll give you that.
I guess big picture, I mean, we talked a lot about kind of the energy Lucas had and sort of what he was able to shake off mentally. Obviously, he's changed physically. What is it? Have you seen a different level of joyfulness in him behind the scenes? The Lakers posted a video of him giving you a pretty hard time about how pasty you are. Like he was encouraging you to go outside. he was on you.
I thought we had an agreement with the social media team that I would be able to. I told them last year, I was like, you guys got to stop posting my post-game speeches. Like, you got to stop doing that. Like, you got to stop doing that. So they're supposed to get my approval, but great. No, I said this the other day. Luka, he just feels more like himself on a daily basis, and that's a good thing for our team.
JJ, you have a lot of the same personnel, obviously, from last year, but yet a lot of other things have changed. How much of what you had in were you kind of able to carry over with guys, and how much did you have to scrap it, do something new for these couple weeks of training camp, especially without LeBron? How has that all worked together for you?
Mostly a lot of the same stuff. You're also constrained a little bit by the amount of time you have. And then you're always looking to tweak certain things. You know, there's a couple things we've tried to tweak defensively, and a couple things we've tried to emphasize or overemphasize offensively that are a little bit different. But again, you know, when you're coaching a team, you're trying to figure out your best players. How do you put them in a position to create advantages and have them be comfortable where they can make everyone else around them better? And I think for the most part, you know, we did that post-trade when we were healthy, and Luka was in the lineup. So yeah, just tweaks.
And then with Golden State, you know, you played against this system yourself for years. How much has evolved, and how much of the way that you want to defend them, kind of Steph and Kerr's system, is similar, and how do you kind of best teach that to your players?
I played a long time ago, Mike. A long time ago. You know, the end of my career, I don't really count. So the post splits have been a staple. It's just a really hard action to guard. It was really hard, you know, when they had Steph and Clay. Now it's really hard with Buddy and Steph, and they do a great job of putting pressure on the rim, even though it's the threat of the three that really causes you to overreact. And I think that's the challenge for any team, is playing the rules. You know, you can't, if you start making stuff up when they get to their post splits, you're going to give up a layup or a dunk. So got to be really disciplined there.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about how your team is going to approach this game without one of your best players, and who do you expect to or want to step up in that place?
Well, I think it's a good question, but oftentimes, you know, when you are playing without one of your best guys, it's not necessarily right at the beginning of the season. You know, he hasn't practiced with the team yet. You know, so our group is comfortable with what the group is right now, and we need all guys to start in their roles. I don't think that changes if LeBron is in the lineup or if he's out of the lineup. We need our guys to start in their roles.
When we were speaking with DeAndre this morning, asked him if there's anything to take away from the preseason matchups. He mentioned post and his ability to stretch the floor. How much is this matchup a good challenge for you guys in terms of with the centers? You mentioned being up to touch, just challenging them in that way.
A lot of challenges tonight. That's definitely one of them. Having both Post and Horford being able to pick and pop, and you know, he's I don't know the exact number. I want to say it was 6.7 or 6.8. Like, he was getting him up at volume in preseason. Post was, and shot 43% last year. He's definitely on our laser board.
Staying on DeAndre, to paraphrase Luke, at one point during preseason, he said he's going to be if not the most important player on our team this year for our success, one of the most important players. How would you assess how he's kind of had his onboarding process up to now? And just like, if you were to name bullet points of if he does X, Y, and Z, he's doing what we need out of him for to have success.
I would say he was dealing with a little bit of a nagging thing in September, so he played pickup a couple days, but for the most part was doing individual work and being in the weight room, the training room. So the first few days, I think it was about getting comfortable with the team. The last 10 days, he's been fantastic. Both as a teammate, a talker, communicator on the floor, communicator in huddles. I think he's just getting comfortable with the team, so that's great. I say offensively, putting pressure on the rim as a runner in early transition, playing pick and roll with Luka, AR, being a screener and forcing overs, punishing mismatches, getting early seals, being a monster on the offensive glass. That's what we expect from him. That's what he's done throughout his career. And then defensively for us, he's just got to be an anchor, and using his size and his versatility just to really be the backline of our defense, but also having that versatility and that athleticism to not just sit in the paint. And I think we've seen that during the preseason on a number of possessions. We've seen that in practice a bunch too.
Hey, Coach. Rashawn Haylock, KTLA. When you look at Austin Reeves, talk about starting in your role, what are things that he's doing when he's doing that, and what does that look like for you all as a team?
I would say it starts with him touching the paint. We were not a good paint touch team last year, and bottom third in the league. He's our best paint touch guy. So, putting pressure on the back line of the defense, getting two on the basketball, being a great decision maker once he does that. I think, I told him this yesterday when we did our role meetings, like his finishing right now, I think is as good as it's ever been. And I don't know if that's he says he's not more athletic. I think he's more athletic than he was when the season ended. He really does. He somehow trimmed down and got stronger and got more athletic. So, finishing and putting pressure on the rim, I think are the two biggest things. And if you look at his advanced metrics, in terms of blow-by rate, career high in deflections and steals last year, second in the NBA in charges. Like when he defends with toughness, he does those other two things. It's a game changer for us.
Hey JJ, I remember sitting here with you before your first game last season, and you talked about how your metrics for yourself were growth and improvement. I'm sure those are still the same metrics you're judging yourself by this season, but after one season under your belt, what is your goal for this season for yourself?
For myself, I don't really have a goal for myself. It's a goal for the Lakers. It's a goal for our group. I think my goal is for us to win as many days as possible and enjoy doing that. Again, I say this all the time. I think I've told you guys this, and I've said it privately a bunch. I judge myself, did I maximize the group? Did people enjoy coming in the building and going to work every day? That's the answer to those two questions is yes, then I did a good job as coach.
Hey JJ, what does the sweet spot to you look like with Luka relying on his individual greatness, but also ensuring team concepts, and what will be the key to finding what that sweet spot is?
It's one of the reasons we place such an emphasis on our throw aheads and our throw crosses and our early rim seals. I think it's a great way for him because he's so good at the throw ahead to get his teammates involved early. Rui does a great job of, especially early in games, of just getting one or two easy baskets and connecting with Luka. When LeBron's on the floor, we saw that last year. He does that a bunch. AR does it. I expect our bigs to do it as well. And so that's one way. And I think just for him as a coach, and I've talked with him about this a bunch, you've got to be willing to live with a little bit of the daring. You just have to. If it's part of a player's DNA, you just got to be willing to live with it. It's Marcus and Mando on the defensive end. They're going to make stuff up sometimes, and you got to be willing to live with some of it. We've clearly defined, transition habits after a make versus after a dead ball or after a miss versus a free throw. So there's opportunities for them to kind of go rogue, but sticking with the team concept is important, and it's the same thing with Luka.
Hey JJ, Aurelia Rico for German Open Court Basketball. Maxi Kleber is out now, back again, and you know him a little bit better. You played with him for a while, and he still has like 11 million on his last year contract. Can you share something how you maybe motivate him to stay focused in the situation where you know you have to play for something?
Well, Maxi's a pro. He's just a terrific teammate and a hard worker. I feel bad for him. I was making sure that we had released that.
Yes.
I don't get the social media stuff, so.
Oh.
So I feel really bad for him right now. He bemoaned to me yesterday that, he's like, I do everything right, I take care of myself, I get my sleep, I put the right things in my body, I work out, I train, and he's been bit a little bit by the injury bug here the last 2 seasons. So I really feel for him. I'm thankful this is a short-term thing, but I know that he'll be in a position in a few weeks to help his basketball team.
Hey JJ, the coaches that Luka had in Dallas and Luka himself have talked year after year at the start of each season about it's going to be different about talking to the officials mid-game, and I'm going to focus just on the game and take the bad calls as they are. What conversations have you had with Luka about that?
Ongoing. Ongoing. Yeah. Ongoing.
What's his response to your commentary?
He always is willing to take constructive feedback. Yeah, and I think he recognizes that if those things become a distraction, or if it becomes personal with an official, that's a detriment. So he knows that. Again, it's, I hate to keep saying this, but I will keep saying this all season long. It's why we're trying to form championship habits, and part of forming championship habits is breaking bad habits.
Thanks, Coach.